Hello everybody, we are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo and this is my forever co-host John, and today we are talking about a much anticipated recent movie that came out a few weeks ago or like a month ago, and everybody said it was surprisingly good, including this one. I myself heard mixed things, but I would say I enjoyed this. I'll explain later.
I love this one. Yeah, okay, fine. But to be honest, I remember doing a trailer review for this one, or we just talked about it, and I had so much doubts. Like I had a lot of doubts with this one, and I was like, if it doesn't work, it's to expect it. And if it does great, it's fine. But I didn't. I really thought they were gonna butcher this one. For some reason, I was like, yo, this is great. Like, it has zero mechanics from the tabletop game. Like, they're not people role playing. Well, technically, they're not like, oh, kids playing a game and they go out into the real world and they go back in the fantasy world. It's not like that. It's just fantasy world. That's it. And they have like the creatures and the races, like the Aarakocras, orcs, elves, all that jazz in the movie, and that's what associates this as D&D. And I like that. They also have like the items that you have to get. Kind of the same thing without the dice roll.
I've heard good and mixed things. Just like my DM was like, he was watching this and he's like, you can't do that. No, you can't do that either. It's like, oh, okay. So I guess if you're like a DM or like someone who's really into D&D, this might drive you up a wall. But like, if you're just here for a movie.
Okay. Sorry if I rolled my eyes. If you're watching this, okay. Tell me what the scene is, and I'll say if it's like, okay, I'll give it a pass, or yeah, you can do that. So
I forgot what he didn't say any specific scene, but he was just like sitting and being like, no, you can't do that. It's like, oh, okay.
What can you not do? It's D&D. Use your imagination. You roll for an action.
So since I recently started playing D&D, I was like, oh well, I have a podcast about movies, so perfect timing for both scenarios. And like the fact that it had Chris Pine, I was like, you know what, whether it's good or bad, Chris Pine's always a good time, so why not? The rest of the cast, I was like, like Michelle Rodriguez, I was like, okay. Justice Smith, I was like, the last movie I saw you in was Jurassic World 2. It's not your fault, but like still, you're like, oh, okay.
You did an okay job.
And for Doric, the actress, I was like, oh, you're in It. I like you in It. Why not?
Yeah, I'm glad she's moving up in new places, instead of just being known as the girl from me.
I also like the fact they got Renee John Page to be Xern. You're like, oh, I liked you in the Gray Man. I liked you in other stuff. I forgot where I think he came from Bridgerton. I don't know him from that, but I know him from like the Gray Man and like a bunch of other things. I think
the Gray Man.
He was like he was the CIA guy. It was him and Jessica Henwick.
Right.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, going into this, you get the setup pretty quickly that Chris Pine's character, Edgin, was a member of a spy guild. And then that all changed when his wife was killed by Red Wizard, who he captured, but they tracked down their treasure. So they found his place, but his child survives, and then that was the part where he's at his lowest. He's telling this while on trial, by the way. And he's waiting for like Jonathan's like, oh, I hope Jonathan's here. He's like, would you please start? Jonathan's gonna be here either way. It doesn't matter. Just please start your story. He's like, all right. So when he's like telling him about like, oh, when I lost my wife, I was so deep in despair. I think this will be better for Jonathan. And they're like, what the fuck?
I love this scene. So, yeah, it's like a recurring thing. Like while he's telling stories, like I think it'll be better if Jonathan was here. They keep going, and they're like, "Oh, wait, okay, finish the backstory."
And then that's where you find out that he meets up with Holga, who's played by Michelle Rodriguez, and then together they raise Kira together. They also form a crew of robbers. They don't harm people, but they just steal from whoever they feel is a bit too rich.
Deserves to be stolen from. And within that team is
Simon, a girl from It is Doric, Hugh Grant is Forge.
Grant.
And like Michelle Rodriguez is Holga. I keep using it for Hey Arnold for some reason.
Hold up.
Yeah.
It isn't on there.
Yeah. Holga or Helga? Which one is it?
I think it was Hold up.
Yeah. Because Helga's Hey Arnold. Anyway, but like it all goes to shit because they meet Sophina. It's like, hey, can you steal this thing? And like they do, but they leave Kira behind because like, oh, it's too dangerous. I'll come back. And like one of the relics they're trying to steal is this thing that can bring back anyone to life. So Edgin's like, oh, Kira can finally meet her mom because she never met her. I can finally have my wife back. They're like, okay. No mistakes, but they're stopped because he trips up an alarm and Sophina stops time. Edgin and Holger are left behind to get captured, and then we cut to present day. Jonathan finally makes it, and you're like, I don't think Jonathan knows Edgin or Holger. Yeah, that scene killed me too.
Like, oh my god, Jonathan, you're here. You see, like, as soon as they grab him and like launch out into the window or their escape, you see one of the judges approve of their dismissal, and I was like, what the fuck?
Wait, we approved. And then like poor Jonathan's like, ah! You're like, what the fuck? I love this beginning.
That shit was like so good. I was like, but we approved of your pardon. We're like, wait.
Like, what? While they're out the window. Bye.
No, but not gonna lie, because of Chris Pine, I really do want to play as a bard now.
You know what? Me too. And like Jonathan's still breathing, you're like, oh thank God. And then they go back to meet up with Forge, they get their gear, meet up with Forge, and Forge is now the Lord of, I forgot what you call it. I'm sorry, I'm not a major D&D player yet. But he's the Lord.
No, dude, it's a made-up place.
Oh, okay.
Like a lot of things in here.
Okay. But yeah, he's the Lord now. He's been taking care of Kira, but you feel like resentment between Edgin and Kira, especially on Kira's part, because he's like, oh, I got captured. I'm so sorry. It's because of this and this. And just like, you're saying this like it's not your fault. And you're just like, but I, before he can say anything, Ford is like, oh, by the way, Sophina is still my advisor. They're like, what the fuck? She's the reason we're...
But she's the one who betrayed us.
Yeah. I'm like, you get the sense that Ford is going to be the heel in this movie. Because he's just so... You get a sense of like, oh, he earned this space because Sophina used her magic. And like now, since Edgin and Holger are in the way, he's like, oh, you're going to take Kira away from me. I can't have that, so I'm going to set you up again. They're like, oh, you son of a bitch. He's like, no, don't worry, I'll be the dad she never had. And you're like, oh, you really are a bastard.
Yep. And like as soon as they start running away and they run into the guards, we get this solid fucking fight. Marvel, you gotta watch out. This choreography was way better than
when she was like, what do you Marvel use movies to clean your axe? And like he gets distracted and she hits him for a bit and you're like, god damn, Michelle Rodriguez can you forget that she does her own stunts too. You're like, fucking shit.
That shit was fucking solid, that one entire scene. And it was done by one shot too, so I was like, that is very nice. I like that.
Yeah. And you're like, since it was the beginning, I was like, you know what? For nothing else, at least the action's pretty good.
Yeah.
But they can't go back now because Forge has Sophina, and Sophina is the apprentice of some other big bad. And so they're like, alright, we have to steal his riches, including the relic that brings back the living and my daughter. How do we do that? How do we break in? And they're like, oh, we have Simon. Maybe he can break the enchantment. You find out like, oh, Simon's like an okay wizard. Like a so-so wizard.
Yeah. Where he's kind of just like doing party tricks in front of like a village.
Yeah. And you're like, I guess it's gonna work. And then he's like, oh, who else can disguise themselves to gather information about the vault? Because they don't know what they're going up against. So he recommends Dork. Dork is this person who he tried to have a thing with, but since he's lacking in so much self-esteem, she's like, nah, ain't gonna work, homie.
I kind of like, I was like, this movie didn't have to call me out just like that. Like this movie didn't have to do me so dirty. Because she was like, I was like, oh, why did it work out between us? It's like, you lack so much self-esteem. I was like, hey, yo, sometimes it's hard, okay? But it's still on point though with his character because he keeps doubting himself again and again throughout the movie, and I love it. It's so funny.
Yeah. And like they do, I like how I love Dora's introduction where she does disguises herself as like an owl creature. I don't know what you call that. I haven't encountered it yet. An owl bear?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Damn, I want to see an owl bear. Yeah. Are they generally nice creatures?
After seeing Cocaine Bear, I do not want to see an owl bear.
I was about to ask, like, since you play D&D, are they generally nice things? You haven't encountered
I don't think I've encountered one yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go off their memories, but like when Adrian's talking to Simon, it's like, I can't break that enchantment. It's like, no, just keep it to yourself, but you can't. We'll find another way. And then they learn about the helmet of disenchantment, where they have to talk to Holga's dead people of like, oh, they were in this battle, that's probably where they left it off. But before that, they go to the house and you're like, her former lover is Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And they keep talking about like how she's so not moved on yet. Yeah. And then again I was like, hey yo, this movie didn't have to do me dirty like that. But yeah, so like she hasn't completely moved on. She's with the whole fucking scene between Bradley Cooper and her really felt very modern day love, like, you know.
Bradley Cooper was surprisingly
that kind of situation.
Very respectful. Like, I was just like, every time he came up, I was like, that's fucking Bradley Cooper. He's just Hobbitsus now. Even less so than Hobbitsus now.
Wait, what was his like nickname for her?
I forgot. Like it was some QT. Like, oh, okay.
I just love those scenes where he like caresses her cheek or some shit, and it just makes me laugh because she's so tiny. But then again, short kings, short kings. And but sadly, he has moved on. He has another love. And it's also a gigantic one.
You see that? Oh, he has a type. Cool. You know what? I don't.
Yeah, he clearly has a type. And she moves on, but he gives her like this staff that like she got for him back in the day.
Then
and they're like giving it back for closure.
Yeah. We go into the scene that kills me, the grave where like they use the enchantment to bring back people, but they never have the thing that they need. You need to bring the helmet to it, and it gets cut in half. And then they go to the other guys, like he gets shot through the eye. And you have to ask four questions, right? Or five? So, five questions. So they can go back to being dead. And every time he forgets, they're like, excuse me, I would like to go back to being dead. He's like, oh, sorry, my bad. And then they go to the guy, he's like, oh, tell us what happened to you in the battle. It's like, oh, I got off my tub, I hit my head and I died. It's like, so you didn't have the helmet? No, I died, sir. Like, oh, because your name, oh, that's my brother. Oh, okay, bye.
Yeah, but I love that shit. Like, wait, you didn't ask me a question.
Dude, that scene fucking killed me. It's like, them just dying randomly. I was like, why? I didn't expect this movie to be so funny. And after watching Ant-Man the Wasp, like, that's how you do comedy, man.
That's how you fucking do comedies.
Like,
the timing has to be right.
I feel like Chris Pine, over the years, has gotten better at comedy.
Oh, yeah, he has. Yeah. He has. He really has. Like, he has amazing lines here.
Yeah.
And he is a standout character, even though he is the main character. Usually, that's not the case, where you would actually like the side character or this other person. No, you like this charismatic bard spy guy.
Yeah, like Chris Pine's like the kind of guy you feel like you can just hang out with and just have a drink with. You're like, yeah, he's a pretty chill dude.
Yeah. I love that his character is very witty too.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
I mean, when his character is never not witty. I can't really think of any. Captain Kirk to Steve Trevor in Wonder Woman. He's been pretty in the witty in the movies I've seen him in. Even
Alright.
in what do you call the animated movie he's in? Fuck. With like Santa Claus, Easter Bunny.
Right. The Legends thingy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I am blanking,
holiday.
but I do like that movie a lot. Anyway, back to this movie. They do learn that Zern has the helmet, and again, he's played by Reggae John Page. I like his name. It is hard to pronounce though. And then you see that he's like the most noble one out of all of them, and like he rescues the kitty from the fish thingy.
Yeah.
He's fucking Drax in this movie. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, like he takes things a little too literal. He's hot. What's her name from It has a crush on him. What killed me though? I know I'm moving up ahead. It's just that like he always walks in a straight line.
Yeah, like some weird NPC. Like, you know what? I like this.
Yeah, Mr. Perfect. He just
Yeah.
goes over a rock. I was like, okay.
And like before going into like the depths, you see that Sofina is gathering her forces. So you see like this guy with a glowing green sword take out multiple guards. You see like she's talking to her former boss, which Zern tells the backstory on. I like how Chris Pine has the exact reaction I have when he's talking about the story. He's like, "Oh shit, a history lesson." I was like, "Oh," I had the exact same reaction. I was like, "Oh cool, exposition."
Yeah. No. Very self-aware movie. No, but I like I do like what the danger is. Like,
Yeah.
oh, once they start gassing up people, they will start turning into zombies and shit.
Yeah. And they do go down below, but like Edgin's like, I don't trust this guy. He has something up his sleeves. Like, the only thing up my sleeve is my armor. How can he hear me? I can't hear you. I hate you.
Hate you. I was like, and he just smirks.
Yeah. And then they go to the bridge, like, oh, you have to cross it a certain way. And then when you get to the midpoint, you have to cross it another certain way. And then someone just steps on a block and it just crumbles, and he's just like,
And he was like, I didn't know the bridge started here. I was like, that's a fair point.
yeah. And then Holga has the thing which is like the Portal 2 gun, or like the Portal gun.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it's pretty much the portal gun.
Yeah. And then they get
I think
the
it was called
helmet.
Hither and Thither, or like that.
Hither and
something
Thither,
like that.
yeah. Makes sense. And then they get the helmet, and then we get the pretty cool scene with Zern and the assassins. The undead assassins, but you don't know they're undead. You just know that Zern can kick ass, and you're like, I hope he is in this entire movie, but you get the answer soon enough. Like, oh, okay, fine.
No.
But
No,
again,
because if he was there, for sure he would have been too OP.
right? Again, like the action scenes with him and the assassins are like, Marvel, you better watch out because this is how you do action.
Yeah, who is the studio thing?
I forgot the movie studios, but they're under Hasbro because Dungeons and Dragons is a Hasbro movie.
Hey, y'all gotta watch out. Hasbro has it done. Like, this is really good fucking action.
And this is under the movie studio, I think it's Paramount? I think. But yeah. And then after the assassins, they're running away, they find this chunky dragon. You're like, it's a dragon from How to Train Your Dragon. Cool.
No, I love it. Because when you see it, you're like, oh shit, look how big that thing is. And then it comes out, I was like, oh shit, look how big that thing is.
Like, what a pudgy boy.
And it's so fucking funny. It was like, it's so... it's so good. I love this movie so fucking much.
Yeah. They do escape because they're trapped between it and like drowning. And then Chris again is like, just hit it again, and then the gas will help us escape through the small ceiling hatch trick. You know what, it's D&D. It should work like that. Why not? And then they make it to the surface, and then that's where we get the scene of like, I hate how Mr. Perfect walks in a straight line. Is he gonna go through the rock? No, he's going on top of it. Okay, cool. Again, like the perfect NPC of like, that guy's just walking straight into danger. Cool. Then Simon has to get in tune with the helmet. He can't. And then he tells Eddie, he's like, you are full of shit. You told us like this plan is gonna work. And it's relying on me. It's like, it will work. No, it won't. It won't, but what other choice do we have? And then they start talking about all their faults, like, I can't do this. I'm not that kind of wizard. She can't do this. She doesn't have the mastery skills she needed. Even though she does sneak pretty well, like all of her Dork's escape scenes, you're like, again, a lot of studios have a run for their money because every time Dork's trying to escape, especially when she's escaping from Sophina, you're like, the one take of her transforming to a mouse, to an owl, to a deer, like, holy shit. The cinematography, the way it's directed, you're like, this is top-notch shit. I'm glad it did bang at the box office, because if you put in the right amount of good writing and storytelling, this is what you get. It's like, you're successful. I'm glad D&D is meriting off the profits. I'm sorry I'm going on a tangent, but like, it's just weird that this year, like, the go-to for like half a decade was superhero movies, and now they're faltering, and now it's original IP carrying the day, which is, I think I prefer that, honestly. Original IP or like new IP being developed.
No, because like with Dungeons and Dragons, like, I really think they can, blossom into something bigger than Marvel, because it's Dungeons and Dragons. It is such a broad thing. It's not sticking to a linear path. It's not gonna be like, I really hope they do this, where they get the same actors, but they play completely different characters this time. Completely different worlds, completely different rules, completely different settings. Sure, this one starts with a fantasy, probably the next one pirate theme, probably the next one space theme. They can do that. That's what makes this so like, oh, D&D,
Okay.
Storytelling is free reign. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And you don't have to stick to something and have the fans go, it didn't go like that in the comics. I'm like, shut up. And like, I would like to see that they just have different stories, not the same one.
Yeah.
Like same reoccurring characters. They could, but I feel like it'll be more fun if like it's different storytelling every time under the same name, D&D.
All right. Going back to this movie, I do like the speech of Eddie and being like, who's the biggest loser of this bunch? Is I bet big, and I lost. I lost my daughter. I lost everything I had. So if you think you have it bad, I have it worse. So if you want to go. It's fine. I'm just gonna sit on this rock and plan, because that's the best I can do. And they're like, it's the best any one of us can do. Shit.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah, they can't really go back to their old lives, because like, hey, what do we got going for us if we go back and say fuck this shit?
I like how the plan still goes awry. Like when they're trying to transport into where the treasure is, like the painting lands on the floor, and they're like, fuck. Plan C.
It is a good plan.
Like, Simon tried the fucking helmet again. It's like, I can't do it. Now you have to. And they go in the castle, and like the scene when he projects like singing Chris' spine, and he starts breaking down. So just and the guard's like, what the hell is this nightmare?
It's so fucking funny. I couldn't stop laughing at that one. Where he was just starting to lag. I was like, what the fuck is this? And it's so good.
The guard just went from like, oh, I like this, to like, the hell?
Because it's so funny, because this is the perfect representation of rolling under your required number of, skill. It's like somebody rolling probably, like their point that they have to hit is 15, and they hit like a 14. So it works midway, then starts fucking up at the end. So it's
start hitting natural ones,
to a D&D
and you're like,
perspective.
Like it's like you're hitting like 20, and suddenly you're like, oh, I got a 1, I got a 5, I got a 1 again. You're like, oh
yeah.
Same with like Dork. Whenever she's escaping, like this, if they were playing as Dork, they're rolling perfect 20s all the way, because Jesus Christ.
All that 20 just like,
But again, when Michelle Rodriguez is escaping, Holga's escaping, or trying to infiltrate the castle, she's being chased by the soldiers and she's just taking all of them out. Like, especially the scene where she's like using hot coals to kill them. You're like, holy fuck, this is insane.
I thought she was going pacifist route, but I guess not.
I guess not. And then Simon finally gets the courage to stand up to his grandfather, or great grandfather, because he is from a descendant of great wizards. Just decks his granddad in the face, and you're like, I guess that's all it took.
And then transforms back into him. He was like, finally.
Finally. I'm like, hell yeah. And then, but they're all stopped by Sofina because Chris, Edgin finds his daughter and he tells everything. He's like, it is all my fault. All my fault. All I wanted was my wife back. I should have considered you, and Rick. It's such a heartfelt scene. Please don't be Sofina.
And it was.
And she's like, ha ha ha, Rick. Oh fuck.
Damn. I wish his daughter heard that, but okay.
Yeah. And then you're like, wait, don't kill us. Just put us in the game so we have a chance. She's like, nah. Hugh Grant's like, nah. But Sofina's like, they kill all my men and your men. That's the least you can do. Because fuck them. You're like, alright. Fuck them. And poor Dork wakes up. He's like, please don't tell me. We're like, yeah, we're in the arena. Oh well.
Oh yeah. So this is what like Goblet of Fire would have looked like if it stuck to the bus.
Really?
Like they have like this thing that's like chasing them and shit, and like weird creatures, kind of like the acid cube thing.
I forgot there's a technical term for the cube, but I was like, oh, it's the gelatinous boo boo boo. I'm sorry if any D&D fans watching this.
Yeah, you know, no, I think I've encountered those in one of my campaigns before. I forgot what you called it.
Yeah. And then they do escape, they do find the treasure, but they do find Forge and Kira, and then Forge shows his true colors, and Rick, there it is. And then before he can kill poor Kira, Holga throws a potato, and you're like, hell yeah. They rescue Kira and they drive away with the loot. But as they're driving away, they're like, what the fuck is that? As Sofina's summoning down the apocalypse, you're like, ah, fuck. We have to go back.
And yeah, they have to go back. I love that shit.
They use
they're like they're not even the Avengers type. They're like not even that great.
Yeah.
Like superhero base. I was like, nope. They have to. This is what I like about this. Like it's not like, oh, we have this devising like with Guardians of the Galaxy where it's like, okay, that's it. We just use this thing and we'll win. What the fuck?
Sorry,
you have a party going on.
It's getting too dark.
You have a party going on there.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they don't have like this Deus Ex Machina MacGuffin to like finish the day. I like it that Chris Pine's character has to outsmart the villain as much as possible.
Yeah.
Like, and I love it. I love this movie for that.
I do like that they use the portal gun to like distract the people from the arena as they're like giving out Forge's gold, and Forge's like, my money, no. Then Sophia's like, what the fuck? I thought, you know what? I'm tired of these people, and they start doing a battle. And you told me that this wasn't some like Guardians of the Galaxy bullshit where, oh, I just dance and distract the bad guy. That type of deal. This is a hard fought last battle. It feels like a final boss battle between Simon and Sofina, and then becomes Holga and Sofina, and becomes the rest of the party. Like, the part where she's like, you don't know my power, and then Edgin just swings his ukulele at her, and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
And you see them like just legit decking her. I was like, yo.
Like Simon hits her with a magic, and then Chris Pine hits her again. You're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and then the
did this feel like Infinity War all over again? Or like, just hold her down.
Yeah, just like when fuck the druid like turns into the owl bear thing.
Oh, Doric.
Yeah, she like starts doing the Hulk thing to her.
I do like that they outsmart her because like you think they're trapped and the time bullshit again, and Simon's like, I can't counter it again. You're like, oh shit, how are you going to win? And then she's talking like bad guy monologue, and Chris Edgin's like, yeah, your breath smells like 1,000 years shit. Please stop talking. And then just the bam bam bang from Dark. He's like, I think you got her. Bam bam bam, just throws her against a wall, and then gets crushed by bricks. You know what? I like this ending.
I also like this.
For
It felt earned. It felt earned.
yeah, even with losses, because Hall got stabbed. You're like, when the fuck did that happen? And I rewind, like, when did this happen? What the hell?
Yeah.
And then Kira's like, no, I need you after she dies. And like, Adrian's like, oh shit. She is the mom. Like, Kira doesn't need to meet my wife. The mom she never knew, because she already has one, in Holga.
Mm.
And he's like, you do realize we only get one chance at this, or like one shot at this. And she's like, yes. And he says the enchantment, brings Holga to life, and you're like, thank God. Fuck.
Again, this felt earned. I when I watched it for the first time, I was a little bit like, oh, it's a cop out. She was supposed to die, and I thought, oh, there was no sacrifice. But then again, I like, as you said, there was a sacrifice where he's like, it's either bring my wife back, or bring back my friend, who is already a mother figure to my daughter. So, might as well, you know. And I love it. I really do. I love that decision that they made. It is a very grown-up decision. A lot of the decisions they made throughout this entire movie is very grown-up. And I would say if you're a kid and you don't get innuendos and all that jazz, it might go over your head. But if you're like in your teens and you do play D&D, you will love this movie.
Yeah, it does end well, because like the old Lord gets his resurrector like brought out of his coma state, so he unites all of them. They're all heroes in his eyes. Unlike Forge is in the same prison that Yen and Holga was in the beginning. The same
And he tried to do the same fucking escape, but this time they boarded up the fucking window.
Poor John is having his spine cracked again. He's like, why? And it ends pretty well, and you're like, you know what? It's a pretty goddamn good movie.
Did you see Holga like bite her lip when she saw that little? I was like, she clearly has a type.
Alright?
Lord, when...
You know, Seb pointed this out on Facebook. He's like, he likes the D&D movie, but he doesn't get why Vin Diesel or Joe Manganiello weren't in this movie. Because they are the biggest D&D fans in Hollywood. You're like, that is right. That is true.
That is true. No, but it's fine. Because I feel like this was their like test run. Let's see where this goes. Because this could flop. And it didn't. And they did really well. So save them for the next one. It's fine. I would love to see another D&D movie. I watched this twice, but because I had to wait for like okay, Philippines, you gotta stop doing this bullshit. You gotta leave some space, because they would show like cheesy rom-coms and put the movies that we really want to watch on IMAX, which is like, I think $14 or 700 pesos our money. Yeah, they would put it like in IMAX or like Director's Club. And you're like, yeah, you have to pay an arm and a leg just to watch the movie you want to watch, when it could have been where the rom-coms were. Right. And just watch it on a budget. And I'm like, god damn.
Unless it's Marvel, which just bulldozes everything here. Like, oh, okay, I see what's happening.
Yeah.
But what would you rate Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves?
Do I have any gripes with this one? I can't find any gripes. Like, I can't think of any gripes. Dialogue's great. Everybody did their part well. Okay, maybe I'll say the person who played the druid. The one from It. She was a little lackluster. Not her fault. Script didn't really give her a lot of lines. She was just the love interest of the wizard. For Simon. And yeah, so I can't really blame her on that one. But she is a little underdeveloped.
Okay.
Other than that, this whole fucking journey was amazing. The ending felt like it was earned. All the jokes landed. Dialogue was great when it meant something. and no funny ha-has get in the way of a very monumental scene. And I like that. I really do. Yeah. Okay, I'll give this one a 9.5 out of 10. It's getting close to a 10, like a 10 out of 10. It's just that like one character just was okay. You don't know. I can't do that. 10 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10. I really like this movie, and I want to watch it again. I wish it would come out on like Netflix or something, so I could watch it with my family.
All right, I'll give this a 9 out of 10. I really had a good time after really expecting nothing. Because honestly, when I saw the trailer for the first time, I was like, "Wow, this looks cheap, like really
Right?
cheap." Yeah.
Like you had low expectations going in. You're like, it just looks like any other fantasy movie.
Yeah, by the end, I was just laughing my ass off most of the time. I was like, you know what? I'm having a really good time. And, like, again, after so many lackluster, like, I'm sorry to rag on the MCU, but after so many lackluster MCU movies, you're like, breath of fresh air. People who actually know how to do comedy and action, right? Yay!
Yeah. Hey man, it's fine. Keep going. You gotta learn their lessons somehow.
I have a question for you, though.
No.
What's the funniest thing that's happened to you in D&D?
It's funny to me, but I don't think it was funny to my party. So I was doing an amazing job, rolling 20s, rolling high, pretty much like almost killing all of the minions slash the boss, which was this like lizard millionaire. He owns a castle, but he was actually planning on sacrificing everybody who's like above the ballroom. So like I finally have him. He's like about to die, and I didn't know that this guy was like had to give us information first, and is actually a key plot point to move the story forward. But I had him, and I slit his throat. My DM was like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And I felt so bad. Bless her, because she had to work with my mistake. But she had to think on the spot another way to continue the campaign, as I killed like a key plot point within it.
This happened recently. Like we were investigating something over downhill, but it turned out to be like a troll cave. So like one of the party members was like, I'm gonna go down and attack them. But like as they were climbing down from like this rock, they rolled badly, so they fell. Were knocked unconscious. So our leader had to rescue them. Like it was badass. She like jumped on the troll, just cracked his shoulder. But like she's like, I slapped my member awake. But she slaps her too hard, and like, oh, you did more damage. And
she rolled a 20. What?
And then I was like, maybe I can negotiate with the troll. So I rolled badly going down, so I cracked my knee. But like, I started offering them gold, and like my DM was like, they have an intelligence of 5, so they're just like, the fuck? So I get knocked unconscious too. Another guy tries to revive all this, but he just falls straight down. And like the DM was like, this is happening in 16 seconds. So in 16 seconds, people are falling from the sky, getting knocked unconscious. And like the first one who gets revived starts singing, like, I'm sorry, and troll. But they're just like, what the fuck is happening? By the end, we all died.
Was that a one shot or was that for a campaign? Because that's a sad
campaign.
You poor bastard.
So we have to do, well, at the time of filming, we have to make new characters tomorrow. So yeah, we did a one shot where this guy was
that happened like a few days ago. Man,
yeah.
Why do your characters die? I haven't had the character die on me yet.
You're just lucky, I guess. It
I
happens
guess
to the best of us. It is what it is, man. So if any party members are watching this, hello. Fun times.
Yeah. Hey, what's your funny story when you play D&D? Tell us about that in the comment section below.
Yes, and that has been our video on Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Have you guys seen the 90s version with Jeremy Irons? If you have, so I am so sorry. Have you?
Haven't yet.
Oh, okay. But yeah, if you want to see more of us, we're on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments. Spotify to hear us on the go. Individually, you can find me again, Dolphus1995 on Twitter. How about you?
Oh, you can find me at JohnJM on Discord, on Instagram, but it's not that.
And that's it for now. We do have one more video, which is the king of making money among movies this year, and it's a me movie, money making movie. If you guys get the hint, then
That's horrible.
no, but I guess you guys know what it is now. But yeah,
Yeah.
until then, see you then. Bye.
Yeah.